Thanks for joining us on a brand new season of Industry Leaders. It's here that we celebrate the success of big brands, their business leaders, and how they came to be. They'll tell their story, and we'll find out who they really are. On this episode, we'll journey into the construction market. Drakk founder and director Costa Drakopoulos grew up in Thomastown with the smell of construction to building a business with a yearly turnover of $80 million. Industry Leaders, brought to you by Annex Media.
Growing up in Thomastown, I didn't know anything else. For me, it was normal. Felt like it wasn't hard or wasn't easy. You just had to plug away and get through it. Thomastown had a fine line. You were either surrounded by good people, there weren't many, or you weren't. Where you had to really sort of have your wits about you. You know, you'd think of a normal train ride to go into the city as being a normal thing these days, but it wasn't for us. You didn't know who was waiting at a train station. You didn't know what they were carrying. We'd see the guys that you needed to keep away from, and we just wouldn't go there. It was a mix of Greeks, Italians, Vietnamese, so it was multicultural, obviously. Look, like anything, I mean, I wasn't prone to it, but you had a lot of Macedonians hanging out with Macedonians, and Greeks generally hanging out with Greeks. But I mean, I've got Italian friends and Aussie friends, and we're still very close, and I was at school with them. So look, they felt safe together, and I don't blame them for any of that. It was probably the later part of the strong migration that we had, because a lot of the kids at school did speak English and spoke it well. Although amongst themselves they probably spoke their own language. I never did that, just not me. You'd go to a school and it was mixed, but it didn't feel like that. So we're all in the same, we're all in year 9, we're all in year 7. You know, we're all sitting exams, we never saw it like that. The education system was a simple one. I mean, we weren't expected to break any records, we weren't expected to get marks to become doctors. It was just starting school, finishing it, getting through it. I mean, we had no exposure. For us, it was a simple subject. You go to it, you have your tests every half a year, every end of year. Whether you pass or fail, you're into your next year. You know, so being at school Monday to Friday was hard enough for us. I mean, there was so much happening outside school. After school, it was sport. It was me and my dad most days. You know, Tuesday, Thursdays was soccer. Saturdays were soccer, Sundays were training. When I got a little bit older as well, I mean, I was actually quite good at soccer, so the soccer became like a semi-professional thing. I trained pretty much every day for a team, played on the weekends as well, so that was pretty fun. But I got injured, so I couldn't continue that either. Yeah, so again, it was another experience, sort of created the foundations of strength, you know, you need that. Putting that aside, you know, you had your kids that sort of weren't dedicated or committed to school. I'm not going to say I was an angel, but found sort of not going to school and creating little pockets of gangs and, you know, fending for themselves. And I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but I guess that's what they chose to do. I don't know. Sometimes you're pulled in. You're dragged in because you've gone out to an innocent 16th birthday party at a home, and there's violence and there's trouble, and you're trying to pull a mate out of something. Or there was a lot of that when we grew up. You know, we saw some bad things. I mean, you live and learn. You live and learn. If it wasn't for Thomastown and the upbringing that I had in Thomastown, I mean, we didn't have money. So it wasn't like we were out every weekend with $50 to spend. It was, we had to make do with what we had, And the friends I had at the same time were on exactly the same level. Their parents were migrants as well. I was aware of it because there were certain things we didn't do, we couldn't do. We never ate at restaurants. It didn't feel like there was anything wrong with it because that was our lives. I mean, you look back at it now, I wouldn't change a thing. I'm not going to say it gave me strength, but I know the other side of it as well. And that sort of grounds me today because it puts things into perspective. Nothing was given to us. We learn things that necessarily wouldn't learn, I believe, being in that position. My father was a concrete finisher, 35 years, same job, or almost 35 years. It was in construction, that's all we knew at my house. You know, concrete smelling clothes, dirty clothes, you know, the early mornings, you know, he got up early, finished early, sometimes finished late, sometimes worked Saturdays, Sundays, whatever had to be done. I always knew I was going to get into construction. It was just a timing thing. And yeah, one of the stuff around and we had friends, we had girls, we had clubs, we had all of that. But there was a time where that needed to stop and I was pretty smart and I knew when that was. My wife helped, obviously, finding her, meeting her. It was before Christmas, I'd say 2 months or 6 weeks before Christmas, we'd booked in a holiday as well, and I was unemployed. And no one was going to hire you 6 weeks before Christmas. Why would they, and pay your entitlements? And it just didn't work. So look, I had a crack.
Still ahead on Industry Leaders, Drakk founder and director Costa Drakopoulos focused on reliability, consistency and end result to create a brand new Melbourne construction business in the summer of 2006.